Hi, my name is Ian Brooks and this is my presentation for the ICT4S 2020 Doctoral Symposium about my PhD research work. I'm a senior lecturer in sustainable IT at the University of the West of England. And my topic is around the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in systems engineering. Specifically, how can we use them as sustainability requirements? My supervisor is Professor Jim Longhurst. My starting point is the Sustainable Development Goals, agreed by every country in the UN in 2015. These 17 goals have a target date of 2030 and represent the world that we want to see by 2030. At the level of the 17, they are somewhat anodyne. It is easy to state a commitment to them without much reality. However, beneath each of these goals, there are a series of specific targets, 169 in all. And that's the level that I tend to work at, because at that level, you see the reality of what we want the world to be. The SDGs are not perfect. About 29 of them really require much more work to be specific, to be good requirements. 49 of them are really very well stated, with specific numeric quantifiable targets. And the remaining 91, well, they could be improved by a bit more quantification. However, arguably, these are the best single global definition of sustainability. And I believe we should be helping systems engineers to make use of these to inform their requirements in any systems that they are developing. And my research questions are based around that. Are they well written? Could they be represented as an ontological model? Are there requirements engineering methods that we could use? Can we show the benefits? And what sort of metrics would we use? I've done the literature review on this. If you do a Scopus all-field search on Sustainable Development Goal and requirements engineering, there are only 31 papers. And none of those covered the use of the SDGs to elicit requirements. In fact, mostly they were single mention of the SDG, really in a scene setting context. The next level of search that I did was looking at software engineering and sustainable development goals. From 2014 on, because the SDGs were agreed in 2015. There are more papers addressing this, 139 in total, but again, mostly are just one mention of the SDGs in the paper. There are some that have used the SDGs in the context of a generalized framework, such as that presented at last year's ICT4S in Finland. And two of these papers were my own, so there is a clear publication gap here. I should recognize, though, that the context is there are more papers on software engineering for sustainability, and there's certainly plenty of publication around sustainable development goals in business. But these are not directly addressing this area of using the SDGs in requirements engineering. What I propose is a new method, the SDG assessment for requirements elicitation, SDG-ARE, which you would do at the front end of a requirements engineering stage and use the SDGs to inform the requirements for that particular application. A series of 6 stages, and at stages 3 and 4 you can choose either an expert review path or a Delphi round. I am testing this in my research using 3 cycles of design science research method. The first cycle was in Airbus. Airbus in Bristol is planning to build a new 3D manufacturing plant, additive layer manufacturing, ALM, and they were going through their own standard business as usual requirement solicitation process. I reviewed the requirements from that. They already had coverage of 4 of the SDGs, and I was doing this at target level. By adding the SDG ARE, I added requirements that covered another 6, and those requirements were accepted by the project owner. So value added. Then cycle 2 in King Hussein Cancer Center in Jordan, using the Delphi path to look at the SDG impacts as requirements on cancer care informatics. And this paper was published at the Cancer Care Informatics Conference in 2018 and looked at where there are some negative impacts on some SDGs from cancer care informatics, particularly around areas like pollution, and where there are positive impacts, sustainability, education. So that was the Delphi path, and I am now about to start on cycle 3, going back to Airbus, back to additive layer manufacturing, where I will be using the Delphi process to rerun that and see if it produces a same as the expert approach or better value. I was quite aware in cycle 1 that I, as the expert, was limited in my knowledge. I was happy that we got coverage of an extra 6 SDGs, but I think it could have been better by including a broader variety of expertise. The Sustainable Development Goals are intended to bring together thinking, to help us think about the interactions between areas of sustainability. And so it's natural to assume that if you bring in experts from different relevant areas, you will get better value, you'll get more effective coverage. So, thank you for your interest in my project. I really look forward to feedback on how I can improve this, and I look forward to collaborating with people on publications together. You can reach me on email at ian.brooks@ue.ac.uk, and I'm on Twitter at SDG_Brooks. Feel free to find me on LinkedIn. Be great to have a connection. And there are, of course, references to support this, and the paper as part of the Doctoral Symposium will be published through ACM.